All right, I'm here with Grant Zamin, one of my good friends from lacrosse. How are we doing today, Grant?
What up, bro? How's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
Pretty good, dude.
So, what have you been up to since the quarantine started? How have you been training? What has your life been like?
Uh, I mean, I'm still on campus with my roommates, and my neighbors are still on well, my my teammates are my neighbors. So I've been training with those guys and my roommates, and luckily we've had the opportunity to not well, we haven't had the opportunity to wrestle on campus because it's still closed and everything, but there's some mats that it, we've been able to roll on. So we've been pretty fortunate to do that. And so yeah, we've just been rolling. I've been trying to get on at least once or twice a day, 6 days a week, and then a rest day. And that rest day usually consists of lacrosse, like there's a lot of scenery out here. So I've just been hiking, sometimes carrying my girlfriend up the bluff. It's I don't know, just run stuff like that. But I was actually, uh, like some other people who weren't able to get on the mat. A couple weeks ago, I was painting my uncle's house, and it was for like 2.5, 3 weeks. So basically, I didn't have any access to mats, no teammates, just like my uncle and myself at the lake house. So I would just have to get up in the morning. I'd run. Yeah, it would be a different distance each day or different speed each day. And then aim for like 8 to 10 hours because I was making up my own schedule. And then afterwards, I'd go kayaking for like 2.25. So it was good stuff.
Yeah, I saw those kayaking trips on Strava. I was wondering what you were doing out there.
Dude, dude, I'm falling in love with Java. I want to get the Apple Watch or the Fitbit. You got that? I know. Oh,
Uh,
actually, I knew you had the Fitbit. I mean, the Apple Watch, right?
yeah.
Yeah. How much is that one?
I think it's like 200, 300, but it's
That was that a
nice.
gift?
What was that?
Was it a gift?
I got it from a friend. He bought it for his wife actually, and it was like too big, so it was pretty much new. So he sold it to me for a good deal. But wait,
They
so
sold you the present back. They're like, well, we know you paid 300, but here's
yeah,
150. Yeah.
so it was good. But did you actually carry your girlfriend up the bluff? Because I heard about that, but I thought it was like a joke.
Yeah, bro, you follow me on Strava. You think I would lie to Strava? Come on.
I don't
Is it
know.
Strava or Strava?
I think it's Strava.
Yeah. Okay, well, truth is, no, I did carry her up, but like her dog was with us, so that thing I was like tripping over that dog the whole time. So I would carry up the my girlfriend like on my back, and like I'd be like, okay, I'm making it to that tree up there, and then I'd be like, no, no, I'm going like 10 more trees. So like I carried her up half of it, and then like I we walked for like another 5 minutes, and then I carried her up the rest. But it was still fun and a good
That's
workout, good recovery day.
For those listening. The bluffs are like these little, tiny little mountains in lacrosse, and it's like to get up the main one that we go up during wrestling is like probably 2 miles and like 800 feet of elevation or something like that. So
Yeah, I don't know the elevation, but dude, it's kind of
it's
long. Like
enough.
from our wrestling room to the top, it's probably like 3 miles, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then so a total of 6 miles. And you'd think the way down is easier, but I mean,
No.
on your lungs it might be a little easier, but dude, on
On
your
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 knees.
quads and knees,
Oh God.
oh my gosh.
Dude. Stadium stairs and running the bluffs were my least favorite things in the world last year.
Yeah, dude, I'm not a big fan of doing any sort of running, but that's kind of like what a lot of people have been up to with their training, or stance and motion. But running is like, I bet the biggest thing a lot of people have been doing if they don't have access to mats.
Yeah, for sure.
You've been
Well,
biking a lot, right?
yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty much all I've been doing. I would love to get in and wrestle or do jujitsu or something like that, but
If you're ever in town, come this way. I'll give you a run for your money.
all right,
Yeah.
sounds good. Um, so why don't you just start with how you got into wrestling at an early age or whenever you started?
Yeah. Okay. So let's think. When I was let's think. So I played youth football since like I don't know, third, fourth grade, and as I was a fifth grader, I think my coach for a couple of years, I was like on this like the better team. It was like I think we called it like the Big Ten team, which was like the A team for yeah. I was a beast. Everyone, if you didn't know, I was a hammer at football. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
Okay.
really short. I'm 5'7", even shorter, obviously at that age. So I mean, I was all right, but that's not the point of this. So yeah, I started at that age, and then around fifth, sixth grade, my football coach was like, "Hey man, like you," and I played cornerback, which is like a defensive back position, and he's like, "You would make a really good wrestler," and I was like, what? Like, obviously, I mean, at least at my age, I was huge into WWE, and I was like, I knew it wasn't like that, but I was like, wonder what it's like. And then I was kind of interested just to figure it out. And I got there, and I was so tired, and like it was so hard, and like all the technique. And then I went to my first tournament in sixth grade, and I saw what we had to freaking wear. I was like, what the hell? So I it was weird for me.
Yeah,
Can you hear my neighbors? It was loud as hell.
no,
Uh,
it's fun.
sorry. But yeah, so I played, or I wrestled in sixth grade. I think I wrestled like one, maybe two tournaments, and I just I didn't like shooting. I don't know why. So I just tried doing like lat drops every time. But for me, obviously, it was my first year. I probably wasn't doing them right because I would get pinned every single match. So I did that, and then I was like, you know what? This is not for me. It's hard. You wear these stupid little tights, and then I was just like, I'm done. And then I trained. When I say trained, I went to like two practices when I was a seventh grader. Then I just full on just was like, yeah, I'm done with this. And then, like I said, I was like, I loved football. So I still played football and baseball leading up to high school. I played my freshman year, both those sports. But after football, I mean, I'm from a pretty big school. So, like, the wrestling coach loves recruiting the football players. And uh, just so happens my buddy who is the punter and the field goal kicker on our team, Brandon Herg, shout out. He was his dad was the freshman wrestling coach, and I'm from a high school of 4,000 kids. So I mean, there was freshmen, sometimes sophomore, JV, and a varsity team, and so I was like, all right, like I really did not want to do it, but like all my football friends were doing it, so I was like, all right, we'll do it, but like this is gonna be the dumbest thing we've ever done. Like this is gonna suck. You guys are gonna realize it. And then I realized I was like, yo, like it's freshman, so not no one's like really that good. And so I tried it out, and I ended up like I just stopped doing that stupid lat drop, and I was like, I guess like this penetration step kind of makes sense. I guess I'll shoot like a double like I did in football, or like a single, because I knew what those shots were. I drilled them when I was younger. I just never shot him. But I was like, everyone's like behind me in like knowledge of wrestling in a sense because it was low freshman wrestling. So I went like, which this like nobody wrestles in college and was probably on a freshman wrestling team, but I was I think I had like two losses on the freshman level, which even then that's like not impressive. But still, I was like 30-2, and then the varsity coach was like, "Hey man, You want to come wrestle for the varsity?" I was like, "Dude, yeah." So I went 500 on varsity, no biggie. I went 1-1. So yeah, actually, I had a forfeit too. So technically
2
2-1.
and 1.
Yeah, dude,
Nice.
I was a dog, but yeah.
Nice.
So I mean, in a nutshell, that was kind of how I got into wrestling. Is I just started loving how to. I just started loving the process of all of the workouts, the bonds with your friends and teammates, and just learning new things every day. And I thought it was really fun. And just, I mean, I don't know, just learning and seeing myself progress throughout the year was pretty cool.
What kind of success did you have in high school?
Um, yeah. So I,
I know you
I
went
started,
2 and 1 right away.
yeah, I was 2-1 on freshman on varsity. And then my sophomore year, I was the starter at 132 pounds. And I don't remember the exact record, but I remember my coach giving the speech that I was like under 500. And I took fourth at a regional. And in Illinois, it goes regional, sectional, state. So I took fourth, and top three get out of regionals. So I lost. I think it was like I I I lost on like 1 or 2 points. I remember the last like couple seconds. I'm not like an emotional person, but especially at that time. Um, but I just like remember just being heartbroken, and like that was just because that was the first year I really committed to something, and like way more than I ever did to baseball or football. So like it really hurt once I like committed. And then uh yeah, so going on, so then I committed to like really after that loss. I remembered it throughout the whole off season. Went into my junior year training with Mike Poeta, uh, John Hensley. I think his name's John Hensley. I know his name's Hensley. At Poeta Training Center in Illinois. And basically, I mean, I went to work. I would ask a lot of questions. And since I wasn't a sectional qualifier, they had two levels, like sectional qualifier and above, so sectional state, and then regional qualifiers, so scrubs and under, basically. Uh, you had to go to this practice. So I tried to talk my way because I was a match away from being in the other practice, right? And he was like, "We'll see. Like, I mean, you you're where you're at for a reason." So I was like, oh, "This is stupid." So I went to the practices, and I mean, it was the first time I was doing freestyle, but it was really fun, and I was giving it a shot. And after like a month, I really started picking it up and starting beating some decent dudes. So then he asked me to move over to the higher level camp, and I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And so I got to do that my whole off season, and my first freestyle state tournament I took like sixth, which keep in mind is not very good, but like for somebody who had just started, I was like really excited about that, and I was like crap talking some of the like top, like I wrestled a state champ in the semifinals, and I mean a couple weeks later I super ducked him like 10 times and beat him. But that week I tried that stupid lat drop and pinned myself, and he like laughed in my face. I was like, dude, I'm gonna beat the crap out of you in whatever next tournament I see you, which I did. But um, yeah. So basically, yeah, I trained my sophomore year, junior, and then just trained with Mike Boda up until my senior year. I ended up qualifying as a junior, going 0 and 1 as a junior because it's like follow
Damn.
the leader. I lost to the number one seed as a junior, and then he ended up getting upset the next round. Will
So you
Lewan, I don't know if you know him.
yeah. He
I
wrestled
think
for
he wrestled.
Michigan?
Yeah, I was gonna say Michigan. So yeah, I lost to him,
So you went
and
0
then
and 1 against the number 1 seed?
yeah, 0-1. No, no, when I say 0-1, not 0-1, I went 0-1 in the tournament.
Yeah. So you
I
you
I
only
lost
had the
9-4 to him.
opportunity to
Right,
wrestle the
I had
number 1 seed.
right, yeah, which
That
sucks.
sucks. Yeah.
And then my senior year, um, I mean, still was flying kind of under the radar, which junior year, I probably had like 8 losses maybe. And then, yeah, so I was like probably like 40-8 that year. And then my senior year, I was like 41-3 maybe. I lost to that year just two nationally ranked dudes, Will Lewan and Marcus Hartman, who Marcus Hartman, him and I train every here and there whenever I'm back home. He wrestled at Army. He was actually the Midland champ this year. He's a
Wasn't he like
dog.
the backup? Is that guy?
Yeah, I mean, for there was an article I think I was reading. He was like the backup for a little bit. But then after the Midlands, I think that kind of like solidified his spot. And then I would assume he qualified for nationals. I didn't really check the brackets because they didn't
Yeah.
run. So um, yeah, so I lost. So senior year, I win my first match ever at state in the prelims, and then the next round I go. Oh, believe it or not, Will Lewan again, quarterfinals, and dude, he did not just like beat me. Like earlier on that year, I lost to him like by 1 point, and then at state quarterfinals, he beats me like I think it was like 18-5, maybe, dude. I almost got tagged because I
Dang.
was just like, I'm just gonna let it fly. I'm gonna like throw him like whatever. Like that's how I win. Is like I just keep moving and throw myself in funky positions. And he was not having it. He kicked the crap out of me. And so he ended up winning state that year, and I lost in the blood round. My third or fourth loss that year was to some dude who wrestles at Minnesota now. His name's like Baylor Fernandez. So I lost to that guy. And then he threw his ankle bands in my face, and I was not a fan of that. I was like, dude, that's
Did
just
you
like
retaliate?
that's disrespectful. Well, dude, I foot sweep. Oh my gosh, don't get me started, dude. I foot sweeped him or swept him, whatever it is, and it was right at the like. I have the video on my phone. It's so dumb that I still have it, but like, oh, I because that was like a big moment for me. I know I'm way past that now, but I foot swept him. It was like 3, 2, 1, and his back was like hitting the ground as I foot swept him to his back, covered him, and it hit zero. And I don't know if it was like no control or like because I didn't run out of time, but like his back was hitting the mat as it, time was expiring. So maybe they're just like you ran out of time. And I was like, dude, I scored, and then and I was just like this, and then he just took off his ankle bands and threw them at my face, and I was like, oh, dude, and I wanted to fight him. And my coaches looked at me. They're like, dude, like college recruits are looking. Don't do anything stupid. So I just cried.
Is that a joke though or no?
No, I did cry, dude. I mean, that was the end of my high school season. I thought, I mean, as a competitive athlete, only having 2 losses on the year, one to the rank, like the dude was ranked. I mean, he ended up being a world champion later on that year.
Who was
Will
it?
Lewan, Will Lewan
Oh, really?
for juniors, yeah,
Dang.
and he was a world champ and probably ranked like top 5 for at the time in the nation. And I was losing by 1 point, so I was like, dude, I can beat this dude. And then obviously I said I got my ass kicked, but yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. That I mean, if I would have won and maybe ended the season on a third place, like that maybe would have built me up. I'm sure it would have built me up, and I would have been like thinking I'm really badass. But I mean, it humbled me and reminded me like anyone could get beat. So I mean, I got what is it? I got my labrum surgery right after state that year. Committed to University of Wisconsin lacrosse, where we both go,
Best school in
and
the nation, baby.
yes, which keep an eye out for us. I know it's D3, but keep an eye out, dude. We got a shot at the title this next year. And
Definitely.
I definitely see Gusky in the stands right now. What is it? Fire it up,
Fire
fire
it up,
it up.
baby. Fire it up. Fire it up. It's kind of weird when no one's doing it with you. But
Yeah,
anyways,
maybe my roommates are they're doing it or something. I don't know. So yeah, committed, got surgery, and like I never hit. So one small little story, never hit. Well, I did hit legs, just never was it like, oh, I am gonna hit legs. It was because my coach was telling me we're hitting legs. So I tore my labrum, wasn't allowed to run, which sounds stupid, but like your shoulders bounce up and down when you run. So it told me no running for like legit 4 months. And I was like, dude, can't wrestle, can't do this, can't do burpees. Like I can do sit ups and legs. And like, so I fell in love with every leg machine at, I think it was Fit Nation. Yeah, that's what it's called, Fit Nation, back in my hometown, getting ready to come to UWL. And dude, that's what like kind of bumps me up another weight class. I was a 45 pounder as a senior, and then yeah, I was expected to be a 49 pounder, but they're like, all right, he's a freshman. He's a little bigger than we thought because I was like 170, probably 3 or 4 at the time, which isn't that big. But at the same time, for a freshman, they're like, whatever, he's not going to start. He didn't really do anything in high school, so we'll just let him develop as a 57 pounder. And then I was getting my butt kicked, but luckily I just stuck with the plan, bought into the process, listened to the coaches, came in every morning, wrestled with Coach Cook. You know Coach Cook, wrestled at, or coaches at North Central now, but would work out with him every morning around 6 or 7 a.m. And then, yeah, I mean, eventually I developed into being the starter. And I mean, not that this is like huge, but ranked as a freshman. And then I just lost. Hey, I'm busy. Uh, but yeah, so then, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
oh, you're fine.
Oh, but so then, yeah, I lost in the semis at the regionals, and then just did the good old semi slide, and yeah, it was rough. So I just lost, and yet top three go to nationals. So yeah, it was a tough pill to swallow.
So, for the people listening, the guy that was at 157, Mike Bernane, we call him an animal because he's an absolute animal. This dude is like, he's he's one of the more jacked people in the world. He's got tons of
Okay.
tattoos, and
Sleeves, yeah,
I
yeah.
assume he kind of beat the shit out of you for like the first couple of months.
Oh,
Um,
dude, yes,
and
that was
Coach
money.
Cook. How did you stay motivated?
Oh,
Did
I
you
thought you were
like,
saying he was beating Coach Cook. Yeah, Coach Cook was beating the crap out of me. Mike was
yeah?
beating me. What did you ask?
So
I'm sorry.
like you did tons of early like 6 a.m. workouts and stuff, and like
Hmm.
you got into this routine. How did you stay motivated to do that kind of stuff, or like who taught you to do that kind of stuff to make those
Dude,
jumps your freshman year?
I never did that stuff in high school. Like I would stay after practice and be the first one to practice, but I wouldn't wake up in the morning before school and get workouts. Um, I don't know. It was like I don't even really know what sparked it. He just invited me in one morning, and I was like, okay, it's a little early, but I'll just have a cup of coffee. And I wasn't big into coffee, but I was like, I'm probably gonna need coffee this early, and then I have class after this. So tried good old black coffee out because he's like, yeah, real men drink black coffee. So then I drank black coffee and I felt like a man. And then I went over there, and I mean, it was not drill. I mean, the first 2 minutes was like stretching and light drill, but
Oh
then it
God.
just turned into just, I mean, for him, it was probably a spar, but for me, it was, you're going live for 25 minutes, you know? So it was an intense morning every morning. And I don't even know what his intentions were for every workout. I think he was just such a student of the sport and like loved competing, where he didn't really have any itinerary or yeah, I mean, he was just like, "We're just gonna go, and, like, we're gonna get tired." And he just loved getting tired and getting physical, and I don't know, and then, I mean, I eventually got smarter because first off, you get really tired when somebody's way better than you and more in shape than you. Well, yeah, I don't wanna say he was in more shape than me, but when somebody's on a higher level than you, you're just like, you feel like you're out of shape, but they're just way more technical than you. So, I mean, yeah, he just would beat the crap out of me. And oh, but going back to the question, I don't really know. I think he kind of just conditioned me into like, hey, coming tomorrow? I was like, I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, yeah, I'm coming tomorrow. And eventually it like became like a habit and then, well, a routine, and then became a habit. And I was just like, all right. I mean, I started, I want to say falling in love with the process because it was fun, and like we were building a relationship, and like I really liked that attention from the coach, and like he really made me a mat rat and like a student of the sport. And I just started asking a million questions, not only to save my gas tank, but to like learn, you know. So I was killing two birds with one stone there.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I would say like a defining trait of your wrestling is like, or of you as a person is just like getting, like this dude literally gets workouts in like every day at like 5:30 or 6 a.m. Like, and it's not easy getting up that early because I've done it with him and it sucks. But
Yeah, I dude. So that's funny you say that. Um, our coach, Coach Malchuk, you know, Coach Malchuk, the head coach at UWL. We just started a new book. It's called Slight Edge. I can't remember the author right now, but it's a book that we're reading as a team. And one of the things, I mean, the biggest thing is like just changing your philosophy and being open minded and just not going back to your old habits. But the one thing that they say is like, it's easy to do something, but it's really easy not to do something. So like, for example, it's easy to read for 10 minutes in the morning, but it's also really easy to just say, yeah, I'm not going to do it. And like, I used to say to the younger guys and the guys who didn't want to get up in the morning, I was like, yeah, dude, it sucks getting up in the morning, but that's what builds character. And I think it does. But I don't know. I just feel like all you have to do is say, as soon as that alarm starts beeping, you have the decision to say yes or no, not I don't know, I'll brew coffee, we'll see. Like if he texts me, then maybe I will, but if he doesn't text me, I'm going to bed. You know,
hmm
like like now it's just I set the alarm, and I mean all those thoughts go through my head right away, and I just shut them off. Like I don't know if I told you about the 3 second rule, but as soon as the alarm goes off, I just count to three. I say one, two, three, and I just stand up because like if I give myself any more time to think about it, it's just like excuses start popping in your head, you know, or oh, I'll just snooze real quick, you know. So I mean, going back to I would just wanted to like emphasize like it's really easy to say, yeah, I'm getting up. One, two, three. Okay, I'm up. Like now you're up. And that was the hardest part is just saying yes or no. It's really easy to do something, but it's really easy not to do something. So I've said yes, I'm up. Now the workout I think is going to be much easier than that decision I just made to wake up or not. That's my personal opinion. Um, but I mean, you wrestle all the time. You know, kind of how hard it's going to be, especially if it's an extra drill. You're just getting up and getting technique in, or a light sweat, or rolling around, whatever your intentions are for that workout. But yeah, so
um, so your freshman year, you kind of have like you work really hard. You come in pretty much every morning, and then you get the starting spot, which is a big win for you. And you take six at regionals, not how you wanted. You
Yep.
have a match that's pretty close with the national champ that year. But
Yeah.
um, how
No,
did
you
what did your
remember that.
training? Well, I mean, you like wrote it on your locker and stuff.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
hope I hope he's listening to this. But anyways,
Yeah,
um,
Ryan, coming for you, buddy.
so the next year you have a lot of success. But what did you do like that off season and that summer to get to where you did end up the next year?
Um, so I got a painting job over the summer, which started at 7 a.m. and it was like a 10-hour day, 4 days a week, so 40-hour week, full time job. And so 7 to 5:30 every day with a 30-minute lunch break. So I was like, how can I maximize my time and just like get the most out of everything? And I was like, I mean, I was getting in 2 workouts, 3 workouts a day, which I didn't really understand recovery at the time. And I still need to get a lot better at that. But I'm working at it. But at the time, I was like, all right, you're going to do 2 things every day, 6 days a week. Because I was like, 1 day recovery, that's perfect. But like, still, you got to listen to your body throughout the week and see how you're feeling. Like, listen. But so I was like, I'm just going to do 2 workouts a day, 6 days a week. And obviously, if I'm getting off work at 5:30, I'm probably gonna need to do one before work and one after work. So, dude, I'm not gonna lie. Like, thank God for my coworker Hayden Schlew, 141 pounder, national qualifier. Dude, he's just a brute. He's a tank. I mean, he came in every morning, just about every morning. I mean, 95% of the time him and I would go in the morning because he'd be the only one willing to get up at 5:30 a.m. before work, right? And we were just, I mean, I mean, he knows how to flow, but like, I don't know, like after wrestling someone for so much and like, especially somebody smaller than you who's really starting to hand fight you hard, you're like, I, I don't know. I kind of get an ego, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna let him like bully me, but I also don't want to bully him. I wanted to give him a real look. So sometimes it became a little more than just a drill. Like sometimes it became a spar, sometimes it became live. So we were always like pushing each other, and we'd wake up at 5:30 every morning, and then after work, uh, I think, uh, yeah, my goal my sophomore year, well, freshman going into sophomore year, was get in 2 workouts a day, like I said, and I would just come in, drill with whoever was available. Like I'd just walk into the room and I'd see who was there, and I'd just grab them. I didn't really text anyone. I was just like, all right, I'm wrestling with these guys because usually at the end of the day, everyone's getting off work and people are getting in workouts. Whoever's staying over the summer, so I'd work with those guys, and yeah, I mean, nothing crazy. It was just I just wanted to get as much mat time as I could in while asking questions to higher level guys. Like I'd have alums come in, I'd wrestle former coaches, and so I was just asking whoever I could to wrestle and just getting as much mat time as possible while lifting a few days a week. And I mean, think that was the biggest thing is just being able to look back at, man, dude, I worked 10 hours, 10-hour days, and I was still getting in 2 workouts a day and watching film, asking these guys, wrestling high level dudes. And I mean, that really just was a confidence builder towards the end of the season. And I mean, obviously, if you get that much mat time, it was allowing me to get that much better because I was kind of new to the sport still.
Definitely. And then that year, for those that don't know, you finish. You get that All American honors with eighth place. Let's go, baby.
Let's go,
Um,
baby.
and then you had a pretty good year though, like leading up to that, and finishing as an All American.
Yeah.
Um, the next summer, um, you obviously did a lot of the same stuff, just a ton of workouts, but like how did your focus change?
Why, dude? I mean, I knew I was right there with those guys, and I knew the guys who I had to beat, and I kind of choked at nationals. Like I wrestled to my seed, but I had also beaten the fifth, no, the dude who took like fourth, the dude who took fifth, and the dude who took seventh. So I was like, dude, I'm like right up there. I just had a bad tournament, and I ended up, and at the time I thought I could have won nationals, but hindsight's 2020, and I definitely at the time wasn't able to win a national title as a sophomore. But I believed it, which is I still stand by that. Like I saw myself as the champ since day one, and I still do, even though nationals didn't happen this last year. Um, so yeah, I just my focus was just getting better every day. Um, Getting tired, like I put a little more emphasis on getting tired while also implementing some technique sessions at the end or other days of the week, and then lifting a lot more because my nutrition was awful as a sophomore. I was eating 1,200 calories a day, and like nobody was really there to tell me how much I should and shouldn't be eating. So I just thought the 25, 33 pounders I live with, I was like, yeah, they eat 1,000, which was terrible too. But nobody told us. So we were just eating 1,200 calories. I was eating 1,200 calories a day. And then coming into my junior year, I was like, dude, I need to eat a lot more. So I just talked to a couple of nutritionists, actually had a nutrition class. And dude, I doubled that and more. I started eating 3,000 calories a day, count my micros and macros and vitamins. And dude, I felt bigger, stronger, had more energy, healthier, and I probably even had less coffee, believe it or not, just because I didn't like the imbalance of energy throughout the day. You know, like the inconsistency, not the imbalance, the inconsistency of like some practices I'd be like, oh yeah, let's go, and then I did other practices I would fake it. I mean, I there's days where you have to fake it, but I would just like not feel it just because my energy was real low. So I was just like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna have caffeine maybe like for lifts, but that's about it. And then Saturdays, Sundays when I want to have some coffee in the morning.
Nice. And then so this year, you don't have any losses in Division Three. Going into nationals, you got the number one seed, and you guys have some struggles getting there. You finally lacrosse lets you guys go. You get there, you're warming up at the facility, like within 24 hours of when the tournament's supposed to start, and it gets canceled.
Yeah.
Like, take me through that.
Well, I mean, first off, I mean, I'm a junior now. I'm going to be a senior, so I mean, I think the worst part was wrestling is a very selfish sport, but at the same time, the guys around me on my team next to me, like those seniors, dude, it was just awful. I could only try to understand how they felt, but I couldn't put
Mm-hmm.
myself in their shoes. Like, yeah, I was getting robbed of potentially winning a national title that year, but so were these guys. And this was their last chance. And they were hours away from trying to make that dream come true, which they've been working at least the last 4 years, if not more. So, I mean, I it's just that's tough. But I mean, going back to my perspective, it was tough because I knew I had beaten the second seed and the third seed at nationals prior to nationals, and one of them being a two-time national champ, and he was like, I mean, dude, our matches were fun throughout my whole career, and it was tough to just I mean, have that stripped from me, but that just goes back to being grateful for the opportunity to compete and wrestling every match like it's your last one. And I think, I mean, after that, I was a little bitter for a few days, but I just kept reminding myself, like, focus on the things I can control, you know?
So out of like every bad thing, you gotta kind of try and look for the good things in it. Have you been able to find any good things out of it?
Yeah, I mean, dude, the past 3 years here, I mean, I've just had like a tunnel vision, like wrestle, 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 and like I've made great friends, great teammates, and friends outside the wrestling team. But I think and now that I'm about to graduate next year, I'm like, all right, dude, like, how am I gonna start applying these things that I've learned to sales and marketing? So I've really started talking with some mentors of mine and my uncle, who's a really, really good salesman. And we've just been talking about how I can apply these things to sales. And I mean, that's kind of the biggest thing between now and nationals is it's kind of just been a wake up call. Like the national tournament might not happen next year, and I like who am I without wrestling? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm I don't define myself as a wrestler. I define myself as a person who just loves being around other people, loves making people laugh, and I mean, I love sports. So
Well,
yeah,
that's cool that you found that perspective. I think it'll take you a long ways in your future.
heck yeah.
Um, that's all the questions I got about your career. I just have two more questions. Flo's got some matches coming up, and I'm curious on your thoughts. The first one
FYI, I
is
called no over Jordan Oliver. I called that.
okay.
Aaron Sweeney, don't know if you're listening. You owe me money, buddy.
You bet with Sweeney. Oh man, I don't
Yeah.
like betting with
Hey,
Sweeney.
you've lost in bets to him, but he was like, dude, you're crazy for saying Jordan Oliver's gonna lose. Well, guess what?
I thought Jay was
He
gonna win.
lost. I mean,
All
they're
right.
both beasts, though. Okay. Questions,
So,
go. Yeah.
Downey or Taylor?
Dude, come on.
I just want
I
the
mean,
final
dude, I
score.
mean, he's like kind of the people's champ in a way. Downey, that is. But, dude, Taylor Downey? Taylor. All way, like, all day, man. Come on. Who do you
And
got?
then, dude, what do you think? Did you
Okay.
see Taylor tweeting at Downey the other day?
No, no.
That was some good stuff, man. He's like,
I'll have to check it out.
put down the smokes, big boy, or something like that. But
But,
anyways, Chamizo and Dake.
oh, dude, that's a tough one because Chamizo's going up, right? I think it's at 79 kilos,
Yeah,
maybe. I think. I don't
I
know.
think so.
Yeah. Dude, Chamizo's an animal, but Dake is world. I mean, he's a world champion. So, I mean, dude, they're both beasts. Both great defense. I kind of view Chamizo as kind of like a Burrows in a way, not with like his doubles, but just like his elusiveness and quickness. But I think his defense might even be better than Burrows. So I think he's just so versatile where he can wrestle with anyone in the world. So I want to say Chamizo. I know that's probably the unpopular opinion because he's undersized and he started off at maybe even 65 kilos a couple of years ago, bumped up to 70, now 74, and now against Dake 79. So I don't know, dude. That's gonna be an interesting one. That's isn't that this weekend?
No, wait, is it? I don't know. I think it's
July
later.
something. Okay. But yeah, dude, I got Chamizo, man.
Nice. Well, I would bet with you, but that is an NCAA violation.
Right.
So,
Well, yeah, of
um,
course.
yeah, I got the blonde one. But anyways, that's all I got for you, man. Thanks for taking the time to do this.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you asking me and having me. This is awesome.